For more episodes, go to our website at www.aftershockspodcast.com. Visit us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more news and information on the podcast. And be sure to subscribe, listen to, and review all episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. For your music listening pleasure, visit our website or go to www.shockwavesradio.com. For all comments and questions, please email us at info@aftershockspodcast.com.
It is Aftershocks right here at AftershocksTV.com, and joining us today is the guitarist of the band Sodom. He has rejoined the band and back with a vengeance, as well as Sodom is back with a vengeance with the new Genesis XIX release. He is Frankie Blackfire. Frankie, how are you, my friend?
Hi, everybody. I'm fine.
Good. Everybody's safe over there? No COVID or any of that stuff?
Yeah, everybody's safe. I mean, of course, we have a kind of like a lockdown, like bars are closed and restaurants you can only pick up and delivering. And yeah, but we are all fine. We are all healthy, the whole band. Everything is cool, yeah.
Well, if I know anything about Sodom, I would imagine that this extended time of not being on the road is just building more and more fire in you guys to where when you do finally get a chance to get back out to play shows, you guys are going to hit it with a vengeance, no?
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. We are all fucking on fire, yeah. And especially our new drummer, Tony, who didn't do any show with us since the beginning of the year. Like, we were supposed to play 2 shows in Greece, and right before those shows, like 2 weeks before, came the lockdown, and we couldn't play, you know.
No doubt. Has it been, I mean, obviously it's tough. It's tough for everybody right now with COVID, but for a band like Sodom that, you know, you make so much of your money, not only just from playing, but from that's how you let people know that you have music out there is by playing. How has it been, you know, very, very tough to keep going?
Oh, actually, yeah, I mean, everybody, I mean, at least Tony, the drummer, and me, we also like working as music teacher. Okay. But yeah, it's kind of tough, you know, for everybody. But actually, we're gonna keep going because we like what we're doing. We're musicians from the heart, and we want to continue the band, definitely, yeah.
No question. Well, let's talk about better things. Let's talk about this great new release that you guys have. Fantastic record. The thing that jumps out most to me is Genesis seems to be maybe the most diverse album in Sodom's history. You know, there's so many change up songs, like, you know, like Occult Penetrator is a good one that strays a bit away from the traditional sound. Was this just a product of how you were writing, or were you trying to add new wrinkles to the sound?
Oh, yeah. I mean, York and me, we are 2 different guitar players that have different ideas. I mean, I always like compose songs like I used to be, but I always already got like during the years, you know, you see things different, and I mean, yeah, but kind of like I wanted to capture a little more like the old spirit of Sodom that I had like in the 80s, you know, when I wrote Express of Sodomy or Persecution Mania, Agent Orange, you know. I wanted to capture this feeling and write some songs like this. Of course, maybe a little more fast and brutal. And yeah, but I try to go back a little to the 80s with some modern influence and some modern technology, sound, you know, everything. And Occult Perpetrator, I thought, yeah, because we had always like fast songs, and I wanted to write a mid-tempo song. And yeah, that's how Occult Perpetrator came out, you know.
Sure, definitely. Now, Now, when you guys were writing this release, Frank, was it did you write during the pandemic, or were these songs, pretty much done before the world caved in, or what?
Oh, both. I mean, I have very old ideas, songs, riffs that I had saved on my computer during the years. And yeah, I used old riffs and new together. Like I used some old riffs and make something new up around it, to write a new whole song.
Hmm.
For example, one thing is when we wrote Partisan, the very first like single that we did, I had a song that I split in half. Like I used half for Partisan, and the other half I used for um, what was it? Waldo and Pigpen, for example.
Okay.
And I actually had some other ideas and it fitted together everything. And the intro part of Waldo and Pigpen, for example, I did separately. I
Okay.
always some ideas I laid down on my computer. I record it and let's keep it for a while. Maybe I can use it for another song and something like that. And as we needed a lot of songs right now for the new album, I was digging in my like old riffs that I had and did something new also. So that there was kind of like a mixture of both. And York has his own ideas and so we came together and worked things out and arranged everything and Tom did vocals over it and that's how the process was basically.
No doubt. Now, Frank, for you personally, you returned to Sodom a few years ago. Now it's been after a long time away. I mean, you obviously were one of the key creators of the biggest and the what most people consider the best record in Sodom's history with Agent Orange. And then you went away and you did Kreator and you've done a bunch of other stuff since. What brought you back to Sodom? Because that's as well as I do, it's very hard to come back to any project that you left.
Yeah, it is actually, and I never was thinking about that I could return to Sodom, because I thought the lineup that they had before, they're gonna stay forever together. And actually, I was like doing my own band, Frank Blackfire, and I was joining Assassin in 2016, another German thrash metal band. And I was like doing my things that I always did, like as a musician, as a guitar teacher, and stuff like this. And then I played a show with Sodom in at the end of 2017. There was a kind of like a 35-year Sodom show with
Right.
some old musicians. I guess Andy Brinks played there, and we did a couple of songs together, and Grave Violator played there too, and me. So we were doing a full Sodom set, like 2.5 hours,
Okay.
and as we played all the songs with two guitars, like Berneman was playing the whole time, and the guest guitar players were playing. I guess the crowd, the people, they really liked it, and wow, Sodom with two guitars, and but after that show, I was thinking, I did a show with Sodom, and that was it. I never was expecting something like that I heard in January 2018 when the news came out that Tom Angel Ripper separated the lineup. I mean, he was separating himself from the other two guys and didn't want to work together with them anymore. And I thought, what? I was really surprised about that, and I said, no, that's not possible. Why? I thought they get along together so good, and they're gonna stay together forever. And yeah, it was kind of like a wow. And yeah, actually, I didn't do anything, and I guess two 2 weeks after that, I mean, in Facebook and everything, that there was like a lot of people. There was like, "Oh, get back Frank Blackfire in the band," and some commentaries like that, you know. And yeah, I guess 2 weeks later, Tom wrote me a message, and he asked me if I would rejoin Sodom. And I said, "Yeah, why not? Let's try it," you know.
Sure.
And actually, that's how I got back in the band in January 2018.
Okay. Does it feel the same as it did the first time, or does it feel almost like a new band because so much time has passed?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, when we played all songs together, it really felt a little like when we played those songs for the first times, you know, and it felt good. And Tom said, yeah, that's how they really should sound. Like, for example, Sodomy and Lust and stuff like this. He said, yeah, that's how it should sound, you know. And yeah, it was kind of like that. Yeah, that times come back, you know, somehow. And as rehearsal room right now, like 50 meters from the old rehearsal room that we used to use in the 80s, this is kind of weird too, you know. So yeah, but the feeling in the band was good. I mean, everybody was kind of happy, you know, to have a new lineup, and we started rehearsing, and it worked out pretty good. And we started playing shows, and people liked it, you know. Every crowd that we played was fucking raging, you know. Was really a lot going on, you know.
Sure. Did you find that you had to change the parts that you played from the old days now that there is the second guitarist? Because you have to kind of share the wealth, so to speak, on the riffs and in the solos. Did you find that you had to change your parts from the older records, from the new song, or from the songs that you were playing live?
Oh, actually, not much. I mean, I kind of play everything the same way I did. And when I play solo, York plays the rhythm part, which was only played by bass live, you know, only bass guitar and guitar. And yeah, actually, we have some more possibilities to work some whatever harmonies and stuff, you know, work it out. And yeah, here and there, maybe we did a little changes for two guitars that we can play something together. For example, one plays the low chord and one plays an octave higher, that it makes a wall of sound, you know, that the guitars sound more bright and everything, you know. And yeah, we during rehearsing and everything and playing live, yeah, we figured out a couple of little songs that we can arrange a little for two guitars, you know.
Sure. Definitely. Now, Frank, with you coming back to the band and listening, especially listening to Genesis, it really seems like you brought back that that classic sound that established the band in the first place. And I'm not saying that the middle of the career stuff was bad at all. It's not. But there was a certain vibe from the early days that kind of went away, and they went through their changes and had much more of a modernish sort of a sound. Did you have a lot of influence on the writing and recording of the new record where you could bring back that classic style, or was it more that you and Tom worked together to try and recapture that classic sound?
Oh yeah, that I have a lot of the songwriting process. Sure, I definitely wanted to go a little back because I know that people expect me to make the second Agent Orange album, you know. And
Right.
I really tried to capture the 80s feeling that I had back then, and kind of like the songwriting, you know. And yes, sure. I mean, especially me, I wanted to go back a little in that time because Sodom is very well known with those recordings that I did with them. And as you mentioned it, the sound and the songwriting always changes with different guitar players, and Sodom had certain different guitar players in their career or in all those years. And of course, they play a little different, and their songwriting is different. That's how the album sounds like them, And I wanted to definitely go back a little to the 80s, like with some modern recording techniques and everything that we can make the sound more powerful. And but like the band together wanted to sound like this. Tom, of course, and York is a fan of the 80s stuff too. And even Tony, those two are much younger than we are, but they really like the old Sodom style. And we try to capture the 80s vibes and feeling and create something that has both of a little 80s vibe with a modern like sound wise. I mean, like the modern productions, not like every band, but a little more powerful, like modern days production sound, because back in the 80s, I guess the volume and the level and everything wasn't that loud as today. And we tried something in between, like capture the old analog sounds, and we recorded through real Marshall amps and Engel and Tubes amps, like this. And we definitely tried to mess around a little with sounds and everything to make it really sound old school Sodom,
Well, you definitely did that, because it is definitely a classic sounding release from Sodom. Now, Frank, I got to ask you, just from a personal level. I mean, you have one of the widest ranging musical tastes, or at least you've exhibited a lot of different styles musically. You've played everything from blues to black metal and everything in between. Does the fact that you like and are talented enough to play so many different styles of music, does that make it difficult for you to settle into like a single band and focus all your energy into one band and one sound?
Yeah, you're right. I have a lot of ideas in different kind of music styles, and I try to separate it a little. I mean, in Sodom, of course, in the beginning when I joined them in the 80s, I mean, actually, I am a guitar player that started playing guitars with blues. Like I had a book to learn blues chords and blues pentatonic scales and stuff like that, blues scales, And my background is definitely rock and roll. When my father, like me, played some 50s rock and roll records for me, like Little Richard, Carl Perkins, Chuck Berry, stuff like that, I was listening with my father to records like this when I was kind of like 6 years old. And later I was really into hard rock, distorted guitars and stuff like that. And I was really into AC/DC and all the bands like Deep Purple and Rainbow, Black Sabbath, but I also listen to Santana, for example. I like Carlos Santana. I like his playing. And this is kind of like a mixture between blues and a little Latin rhythms. And I was always like into bands that have good guitar players, that have original guitar players, stuff like that, And I always... even on Agent Orange, there's kind of like a little rock and roll blues, pentatonic style solos and stuff like this, And of course, I had to do some really heavy and fast stuff and brutal stuff, I mean, back then there was no black metal. I mean, sure, Venom was releasing an album called Black Metal, but the style black metal I don't know, nobody knew about that. That came later, And I'm not really into black metal. I don't know anything about black metal and death metal, and I prefer blues. I don't know. That's my kind of like guitar playing. But of course, for Sodom, I have to write some brutal riffs fast and stuff like this. And yeah, maybe sometimes a little or parts sound like this and that, but I don't have any idea how to play black metal or death metal or stuff like this. I'm from the old generation.
Right, certainly. Now, Frank, just looking at this release, Genesis XIX, it definitely, because of the pandemic, and I don't want to keep harping on the pandemic, but because of it, it really is, from an outsider looking in, it really seems like it could become a lost Sodom album, just because you may not be able to tour, and you're certainly not going to be able to tour the way you normally would on it. Do you guys worry that, did you worry or think about maybe holding this record back until maybe the world opened back up a little bit, or did you just say, well, it's done, let's put it out there and we'll see what happens?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, if a band releases an album, they want to go on tour with that and promote it live, But actually, I guess the last full Sodom album was like 4 years ago or something like that. And we had to come up with a new album, and we were thinking about to release an album this year. I mean, even in 2019, we were like trying to release it, but it didn't happen. So we made the EP out of the Frontline Trench, and we kept more music for the album. And actually, we had to release an album this year with or without shows, and that's why we had more time to arrange everything, to write music, to record it and mix and everything, So it was a little more relaxed without shows, So we used the time to dedicate ourselves only for the album,
Right, definitely. Now, it does seem like Europe is going to open up a little bit faster than here in the United States as far as touring goes. I do see more and more bands are starting to book some shows, in late winter, early spring for Europe. Are you okay with avoiding the U.S. market if that's what is necessary to get out there and promote and play shows?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if Europe is a little more open than the United States. Maybe it is, but actually, I don't know if shows next year gonna happen. We all wish it, of course. Everybody is, as I said, on fire to go on tour or to play festivals and everything. And we definitely want it, and hope that it can happen, And I mean, the fact that Sodom never really played in the United States was kind of like there were always problems at the border somehow with equipment or with stuff, some stupid things, that they didn't want let the band in and stuff like that, And I don't know. We try. I mean, we want to try definitely, if possible. We definitely want to try to tour in the United States. I mean, we have to. We have a lot of fans there, and fans are waiting. I mean, last time we were in Miami when we played 70,000 tons of metal.
Right.
Cruise. And there were American fans also. There were fans from all over the world, and they say, "Oh, I can see Sodom live here," and for American people, it's hard to see Sodom live, I know that. We definitely hope if everything goes well, and I mean, there can be shows all over the world again, and in the United States too, and Canada and Mexico, whatever. We definitely want to come, of course, yeah.
Certainly. Well, we certainly hope that it happens, but whether it happens or not, we have this great new record. It's called Genesis XIX. It is Sodom. And Frankie, where can people go online to keep up with the band and find out, buy the record and all that good stuff?
That's a good question. I mean, actually, I don't know exactly where to buy for American people, but we have a distribution in the United States, and I guess if you go and search for Sodom Genesis 19, you will find definitely the album and where to buy in the United States, I guess, and I'll keep the Sodom traditional side still. But I guess Nuclear Blast is releasing something, and I don't know exactly for the United States, but people will find it definitely, and to order it, and I guess it's only searching in the internet, and people will find it.
Absolutely. Well, Frankie, thanks so much for stopping by with Aftershocks.
Yeah, cool, man. It was my pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Aftershocks. For more episodes, go to our website at www.aftershockspodcast.com. Visit us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more news and information on the podcast. And be sure to subscribe, listen to, and review all episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. For your music listening pleasure, visit our website or go to www.shockwavesradio.com. For all comments and questions, please email us at info@aftershockspodcast.com.